Drutter, October 16th, 2025. During the COVID-19 pandemic, lockdowns, masks, distancing, vaccines, and mandates, I produced more than 100 videos giving my take on the situation and recording my own experiences and opinions. As someone who saw something like that coming and warned about it for years, when tyranny truly came to Canada, I was obligated to not only take a stand, but to encourage others to do so as well. As an ex-healthcare professional, a medical researcher, and an activist who has gone up against Big Pharma before, I was in a position to give an educated opinion on the pandemic and the response governments were taking. But I got heavy resistance from YouTube, where 9 of my key videos were removed soon after upload, and dozens more were shadow banned as medical misinformation. I was one strike away from my 15-plus year account and all videos being nuked, and I've had to tread very carefully ever since. Today I bring you a compilation summary of all 9 of my removed COVID-related videos. Here's what you and the public were not allowed to hear. Hey there, it's March 30th, 2020. Drutter here. Today is day 15 of my quarantine lockdown diary. It may be engineered. This may have been done to us, this virus, but the virus is not a hoax. Maybe you can spread this video because these statements are rampant, and if we can debunk them, then people will start using them less and less. And I think as we go, and unfortunately as the deaths do pile up, people will start to retract these statements, and you'll hear them less and less. You'll hear less people saying, "Oh, my local hospital's empty," or "I didn't see pictures of bodies," or "Nobody I know has it." I think we are at or after now the peak, and it hasn't been as high as anticipated, and I think a lot of that is the social distancing and the strict draconian measures that have been enforced on us. And it did have a positive effect, I think. And we're seeing only 2,000 dead in Canada, not even 2,000 yet, dead in Canada, and here in BC, not even 100. And that is a lot of people, but not a lot of people compared to, say, die from cigarettes. And we not only haven't banned those and caused an entire national worldwide outrage against cigarettes, but we have legalized them and sell them to anyone 19 and above. So I don't really understand what's going on here unless my suspicions are correct, and those suspicions are that there's some shenanigans, and well, maybe not just shenanigans, let's say that some people are attempting to make a power play and change the entire world to be more like their version of what they think the future should be for humanity. That sounds grand, but I don't think that I'm really that far out there with that, and I think that some people watching this have some theories along those lines. I don't really think that the government has a right to tell me I can't leave my house, no matter what kind of health scares are going on out there. I didn't hire them for that. I don't think that that's in their mandate. I don't think that's in their job description. And for me, me and my family do as I say, and currently we are leaving the property if we need to. We're not limiting ourselves to once a week, and we are just not spreading the virus. It's about not spreading the virus. If we were to have it, we are not spreading it to others. If others were to have it, we are not getting it from them. That's what it should be about, I think. But a few days ago I reported how it seems to be more about controlling people than the virus now. Really, they don't really care. The gloves are just kind of for show, and I think it's more about this controlling society, changing society and controlling people. I've said that all along, really. But that has become very obvious, and they have made it obvious by their actions. It's not really about the virus anymore. So we got some people that are very paranoid and fearful, and we got people that think there's nothing going on. And in my opinion, The viral threat is moderate, and I've been saying that for a while. The threat is moderate. The threat to liberty is high. The threat to the economy is high. But the health threat is moderate. People are really having trouble gauging this thing. Some people are saying the threat is 0. Some people are saying it's 10 out of 10. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think it's somewhat dangerous. And it's really the response to it that is the most dangerous part, though. And I think I've been saying that all along, too. So now we've got protests happening all over. And these protests themselves are protests because it's civil disobedience just to hold a protest now. So if you want to protest what the government's doing, with this lockdown stuff, you also have to protest the fact that they've made it illegal to gather. They've made it illegal to be in groups of more than 2 people. I support it 100%, absolutely. And I think there's even one was here in this small town last weekend or the weekend before, and I missed it. I didn't even hear about it. I would have at least considered it if I had heard, so I'll keep my eye out if that's going to be happening again. And yeah, I support protest. I am an activist at heart. I've been doing civil disobedience of unjust cannabis laws for many years. That's my thing. I think protest is important, especially civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is the peaceful, public breaking of unjust laws. All those words are important in the definition. The peaceful, public breaking of unjust laws. And civil disobedience is our duty as free people. That's not our right. It is a right, of course, but it is also, and more importantly, it's our duty. We must break publicly and peacefully unjust laws. Please, if you are not doing that, that is your duty. If you are a free person, you must do that in order to remain free. That's how it works. It is bad in many places, but for the most part, that has been avoided. That tidal wave has been avoided. And a lot of it is due to the lockdown. And people are tired of it. They're just tired of it. And there is going to be a reaction at some point. There will be a reaction. That has to be. That pressure that's building up, that free market that's trying to come back out again. It will not be stopped. And I think they know that. So they know that there's a response coming. So maybe they're banking on that, right? The response, and then they can enforce against that response. And they can say, people are out of control. We have to go to the martial law, whatever. So that's kind of where this is probably being pushed, I think. A paper that Mark Carney wrote, the governor of the Bank of England, he used to be from the Bank of Canada, a famous central banker in the world. He made a speech and he said, the game's about to change. And that was 8 months ago, and my ears perked up when he said that, because he is one of the elite. He is one of the chosen ones. And he said, we need a new system. And he actually said the words, we need a new world order. He announced a new world order coming. And I believed him. And I wrote an article about that, and I said, that's your last notice before a new world order goes into effect. Everything was way too heavy-handed, and it was based on lies, as I said yesterday, or based on misinformation. We're not sure if it was incompetence or lies, but someone's going to have to pay. In fact, a lot of someones are going to have to pay for what happened. And I don't think that they intend for that to happen. I don't think that they intend to face any consequences here. I think there's something else, unfortunately, going to happen before lockdown fully ends that keeps us in lockdown, or at least enables all of the social changes, the cashless society and the tracking and everything. So as I've said before, it's not about controlling the virus, it's about controlling people, and their behavior shows that. It's not about the virus. I can say less and less as the months and years go by on this channel. So I hope you'll go back and look at some of my old videos. A lot have been deleted, and currently in the last month or so, many more are being deleted. I'm losing about 2 videos per week right now. Old prediction videos on where Bitcoin was going, talking about silver as real money 10, 12 years ago, all that kind of stuff. It's all disappearing. My channel's disappearing now. And people don't notice that because they don't look at the old videos anymore. But I do. And I get emails when my videos are taken down. So I'm losing my channel, I'm losing my voice here, and even talking about it and mentioning the word censorship or anything like that increases the censorship on your video. I said 10 years ago I'm proud to be a conspiracy theorist, and I still am. Conspiracy is a secret plot, and a theorist is one who thinks about things. So I am one who thinks about secret plots, and secret plots have existed in every part of the world, in every time, every place. So to theorize about it has been made, essentially you're a terrorist now if you take a position that opposes, say, the World Health Organization or your government. And the last story I want to bring up is government, media, and corporations all pushing vaccinations right now. And I've said that other word now, of course, and this is going to be completely censored and shadow banned, if not deleted outright. It's a heavy push, though. It's everywhere in the media you see. Vaccinate. Don't hesitate, vaccinate. There's a lot of money, currency anyway, being spent pressuring people and omitting the truth. If they don't tell you the truth, they just pressure you to tell you the positives about, they might be able to get some immunity with this vaccine. They don't tell you that it can hurt you. When they hurt you and kill you, you can't complain, you can't sue, you don't get anything. You're just silenced. So, no to vaccines, no. And no to the vaccine that they're going to be making for the coronaviruses. No. If they're even able to make one. I think they will be, though, because the antibody testing is showing that antibodies are showing up. People are developing natural immunity. So I think that means they will be able to come up with some fake immunity in a vaccine. But no. We need antibody tests. Release the antibody tests. They're out there. We've shown that up to a quarter of all people in New York already have it. That was last week. This probably up to half people now. About 50% of all people in North America and Canada, I think, have already had it or have the coronavirus now. Most don't even know it. It's far more virulent than we thought, but it's far less deadly than we thought, and that's good news. And it's time to reopen. Drutter here with the latest on the coming COVID-19 vaccine to be rolled out in Canada, the US, the UK, and many other countries over the next few days and couple of weeks. A reminder that it is brand new mRNA technology, and it inserts SARS-CoV-2 viral genetics directly into your living cells to reprogram them to, in theory, have an effect on your immune response. It has skipped the normal 10-plus year safety testing process, and producers have been given immunity to lawsuits. Pfizer admits that it may not provide immunity. In other words, it may not work at all. They simply don't know. And medium-term and long-term side effects of the vaccine are not yet known. We have no idea to know what the medium and long-term side effects will be. And the vaccine is to get emergency use authorization on December 10th, which is just 6 days from now. And a reminder that skepticism like this is being censored like nothing ever has before. And the vaccine will not be mandatory. It is being announced in the past few days. It is not going to be mandatory in Canada, the US, and the UK, but proof of vaccination, for example, on your smart device, will soon be required if you want to work, buy, sell, travel, or communicate with others in society in any way other than by electronic means. If you want to be around others, again, you will be required to be vaccinated. And that's how they're saying it's not mandatory. One more reminder that in 1976, when I was a young baby, vaccine producers were given immunity to lawsuits, and the rushed vaccine at that time killed more people than the virus that it was supposed to be treating or preventing. This is all confirmed known information in the mainstream media, and links are provided below. Just a reminder, it is not mandatory, and maybe a wait-and-see approach would be prudent in this case. As the year draws to a close, a massive global effort to inject every human with an experimental mRNA technology has begun. Concerns over this pharmaceutical product, which reprograms our cells to manufacture viral proteins, are being swept aside as paranoia linked to unfounded conspiracy theories. But there are real risks already coming to light. On the first day of public injections in the UK, recipients went into anaphylactic shock and required help breathing, and an emergency broadcast was sent out worldwide, halting injection of anyone with significant history of allergies. In Israel and Switzerland, where ambitious campaigns to inject every person with underlying health conditions are underway, recipients have begun dying shortly after their first dose. Don't be concerned, officials say, because they suffered from underlying health conditions, so there's no way to determine exactly why they died. Let's face it, they'll probably classify their deaths as being caused by the virus. Recipients are also falling unconscious within minutes of being injected, and the FDA is now cautioning the public to watch for Bell's palsy shortly after injection, a nerve condition causing pain, loss of ability, and paralysis of the face. None of these debilitating or deadly effects were known just 2 weeks ago and have only been discovered as a result of mass public injection. The makers admit medium and long-term effects, both positive and negative, will only be known after they occur. These products are being given under emergency authorization and are not approved for use by any official agency, group, or body. They do not protect you from the virus or prevent you from infecting others. If you become ill or die, you and your family cannot sue. In fact, if you try to complain, you might be sued. You'll at the very least be censored. Top officials admitted this week they lied about herd immunity being possible once 70% of the public is injected, and it will really require 90% to have an effect. To reach that number, digital vaccine passports have just been announced, which will be required for participation in most aspects of society. Early data from those injected show about a 2.5% chance, that's 1 in 40, of serious adverse effects immediately after the first dose. Serious enough to require medical attention and prevent the person taking care of themselves and being able to work. The mantra, "these vaccines are safe and effective," is repeated at every turn, as it was even before they were developed. The above information comes from official mainstream sources, and links are provided. You aren't crazy. Vigilance is prudent. No, seriously. Chipping humans has long been a concern of conspiracy theorists, science fiction authors, and some within the medical research field. Like many such topics, it was denied by officials until the moment it got announced. Today, January 9th, we're told a smart microchip has been developed, which is affixed to the skin surface. It has tiny needles which inject vaccines and take samples to monitor the body's response, then wirelessly transmit the person's identification and vaccination status to a nearby device for review. So, as far as I know, they aren't putting microchips in the vaccines, but they're definitely putting vaccines in microchips, and that's essentially the same thing. This information comes from the BBC, linked below. This, I think, is a short-term blip due to US dollar strength. And now the real reason this video is here on YouTube is as a placeholder and redirect for a video that I uploaded 2 days ago and was deleted yesterday. I was given a warning strike and told if this happens again I will lose my ability to post and interact on YouTube for a week and then a month and then eventually permanently. So I'm on the road to banning officially. The video was called "They're Putting Vaccines in the Microchips," and I think what happened was the person who maybe reviewed it, if it was a person at all or just a machine, but the combination of microchips and vaccines, I think, maybe triggered somebody into thinking this was disinformation. But I got this information directly from the mainstream media. CNN says that vaccine disinfo equals death.
Disinformation has been rampant, to say the least, throughout this pandemic. And it's rampant, once again, when it comes to the vaccine. What are the consequences of that?
Death. Disinformation can equal death. So if you don't do the right things to keep yourself safe, you or a loved one may die. And that's why it's so discouraging to see so much disinformation spread out there.
Do the social media companies, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, on and on, have a responsibility to do more right now, Melinda, in terms of getting this misinformation, this disinformation
Let me guess what our answer is going to be.
They absolutely have a responsibility. Anybody who's spreading information in society has a responsibility to spread that information safely and equitably.
And then they accuse me of vaccine disinfo. So they're basically saying that I'm killing people with my videos? But who's really guilty of disinformation? What did I say that was wrong? Nothing. A few months ago, at the start of this pandemic, last March I think it was, I put out some information that showed that cannabinoids like CBD and THC and colloidal silver appear to prevent and treat SARS-CoV-2, the virus that's responsible for COVID-19. So, and that was censored by YouTube at the time. They shadow banned it, they put it behind an 18+ wall, all kinds of censorship. It can still be found. But actually, no, I think since then it actually has been fully deleted. They've been deleting a lot of my stuff. And it is stuff that is not disinfo. And so I'm about to be completely memory holed. My entire 15 years and 800 videos, or whatever it is, 900 videos, about 100 of them now have been deleted, but I've got about 800 left, will be gone. Get this information out, because these jabs are coming, and it's important for people to know the truth about it. And the truth is out there, and it's available even on mainstream sites, but if you talk about it, give your opinion even in a certain way, or list the information in a way that they don't like it, they will just censor it. So please, get your information from multiple sources. Go out there and don't just get it from the mainstream, because we know that they are lying to us. Other people might be lying too, or might be wrong too, but we know that the mainstream media is lying to us for sure. So get your information from a variety of sources. Yes, we have been locked down for 10 full 40-day quarantines with no end in sight, despite the pandemic being over 12 months ago. Here in south central BC, there's a small town called Lytton, and because of its high ratio of Indigenous people, it was chosen to receive the Moderna so-called vaccine before the rest of Canada. When healthy people became sick and even died soon after taking the first shot, local family physician Dr. Hoff stepped forward to ask questions and was told to shut up or else. He courageously has not shut up, and just did an explosive interview with an independent journalist. My brief analysis will follow the interview. Please immediately spread this info far and wide. I believe it's happening all across Canada and likely the world, though I can only report what's going on here in my region. In summary, Dr. Hoff's opinion is Moderna vastly understated the risks of their product, for example, by not testing it sufficiently on elderly or sick people. Any questions are silenced by officials within the government. Dr. Hoff was forbidden to voice his concerns and accused of causing vaccine hesitation. Most doctors are afraid to speak up and lose their career. As an ex-nurse, I know that well myself. I'm grateful to professionals like Dr. Hoff for risking their careers to bring us the truth from the front lines. What he's seeing is widespread anaphylactic shock, Bell's palsy, autoimmune disorders, neurological damage, terrible, terrible neurological damage, miscarriages, sterility, and, in a small town, 1 death, although that death hasn't been conclusively linked to Moderna's experimental gene therapy. The effects evolve and worsen as weeks and months go by, many patients still progressing and worsening, and it appears much like MS. Each shot multiplies the damage done. If this vaccine rollout was an experiment, legally it would have to be halted immediately, given what is happening. But because it's not officially an experiment, it continues. Most of the adverse effects aren't even being recorded or reported. Thank you so much for helping me share this suppressed information. Hi there, I'm Drutter. It's May 8th, 2021, and I just returned from an anti-lockdown protest here in my small town in the south central of British Columbia, Canada. And I just wanted to give a little bit of a report on that. I'll put up on the screen some pictures and some video clips that I took while I was there today. And this is something that's happening essentially in every town in Canada and in many parts of the world as well, every Saturday at noon, from about noon to 2 or so, just about everywhere in the world. And it was a great turnout. We had about 58 people, I think. I counted for sure 58. There might have been more, but 58 at least at the peak. So that was great because we've often had somewhere between 20 and 30 people. So that's interesting to see. Hopefully there is a momentum building there, and that's always kind of what you're after, because one person alone is a protest for sure, and you can get a message across and you can whatever, but when you get a bunch of people together, then there's community. That's different. It's not just the sum of the parts. It becomes something more, and that's what we are building there. And it's great to go and just be around other people that are free and are not influenced by the psyop, not influenced by the lies, not influenced by the mainstream media propaganda. These people know what's going on, at least to varying degree. They've, accepted the fact that the mainstream narrative is a lie on this, as it has been in the past and other things, but a lot of people are just waking up to that idea now, but I tell you, it's a great group, and if you are looking for some community, if you're looking for just, fresh air, just a reason to get outside and be out, it is very powerful, and I encourage everyone to do it for sure. Don't get hit. When the people say you're all going to die or you're all going to get sick and die, it's really funny because the rest of us just look at each other and smile, because we've got it so many times it's not funny anymore. But for the first few dozen times, it was very funny to hear that. We would say, yeah, any week now, right? Any week we're all just going to die. None of us wear masks. None of us social distance. It's like regular times. In fact, it's better than regular times because we got community again. We're actually hugging people. We're actually getting close to people. We have tyranny in Canada, and I've reported on that for years, and I said tyranny was coming. I said that here's a tyranny checklist, you may remember. And we've checked off all those things. We are living in tyranny now. There's no doubt about it. And people don't care, or they don't want to notice, or don't want to acknowledge it. And they're just part of the problem, those people. Bootlickers, people that have Stockholm syndrome, who have learned to love their captor, learn to love their slave master. It's an adaptive coping mechanism, but it's not a healthy one. And when you adapt to that, you are a slave. You are a slave that's adapted to the chains. So that's not me, and I have to keep on doing something. I feel I have a 19-month-old son now. He has lived his life in lockdown, and these protests are the only community, the only human faces that he ever gets to see. And he's very healthy, very happy. And it's part of that is because of these protests, this community that we're now slowly building up for the past few months. I've been getting involved here locally. If you haven't been to one of these things before, a lot of the people I meet there say, I've never done something like this before, they say to me. And I have, but I know what that's like, absolutely. And so it's, we're all just very encouraging of anyone who wants to come out here. And your level of participation, you can choose yourself. And you don't have to sign up. There's nothing. It's absolutely grassroots. You just go. That's it. You just go and participate in whatever way you feel is appropriate. And I'll tell you, Canada is not happy with these lockdowns. People are not happy with these restrictions. And people are aware that it is a lie. Recently, YouTube announced they had been wrong about enforcing COVID measures and censoring videos that went against the mainstream narrative. I took the opportunity to appeal the removal of these 9 videos. Yesterday, all 9 were restored, with an apology and admission they do not break any policies. I'm not sure why this is happening, and while it's nice to have the videos back, the damage, both to my channel and to anyone my message could have helped, has already been done. This was information that should have reached those who needed it and contributed to the momentum of the pushback against the bioweapon and digital passport slavery. Voices like mine with the right message at the right time were silenced. And that will happen again. The same people and forces aren't done trying to seize control of humanity. They're exposed now and playing for all the marbles. In liberty, Drutter.